right, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Building LaraShoppe. I'm Nick Basile, and as always, we're going to continue working on this Laravel Nova, Vue.js sort of tested out TDD approach project that we're working on, which is an online shop to sell Laravel swag. So if you were with us last week, we were working on adding Vuex to our application to start managing some shared state between our components. And basically, so that way we can say we're only selecting the colors that have the appropriate sizes and vice versa. So that is what we're kind of working on right now. The last week we were running into some troubles with Vuex not working for us the way we were hoping. We had some tests that we had written and that are started to fail because of how our Vuex changed our fundamental Vue.js code. I did some research over the week and basically kind of figured out how to. Oh, this is not what I wanted. Let's look at something else. Basically wanted to test that a little bit more. I closed the wrong thing. Let's see. Here we go. So basically, we were kind of looking at this documentation a little bit last week. And what I was reading into a little bit is it's sort of two conceptual approaches to testing Vuex. We can either test our getters, mutations, and actions separately. Because they are JavaScript functions, it's pretty easy to just go ahead and test them. Essentially, we mock the state. The other thing we can do is we can mock the state and import the mutations and getters directly from our Vuex, like we usually do. And the advantage of mocking each of the getters and mutations is that they're very specific and we can kind of see exactly what fails when. The problem with that is if our state gets out of sync with our Vuex state, then our test could pass, but our production code could fail. On the other hand, if we test a running store, essentially, we kind of run into similar issues, but we don't have to mock anything on the function side, which is really nice. The only problem is that if something does break, it's kind of a pain to track it down. I lean towards testing the store itself. I just think I don't love mocking generally, just because I feel like you're duplicating your logic essentially, and so it's pretty easy for things to start getting out of sync. So I prefer to mock as little as possible. So I think the testing the store approach is a little bit better. That's just my opinion. If you do it the other way, that's awesome too. No judgment here. So today we've spent a lot of time kind of stuck on this testing problem. So what I'm going to do is those are the two approaches you can take. I'm not going to implement one or the other right now unless there's a strong roar in the chat right now that people want to see this. But what I am going to do is just kind of say those are your two approaches. If you want more information on them, it's just in the docs for the Vue test utils. You can read up on them a little bit more. I'll come back around probably and work on testing these components a bit more. But for the meantime, we haven't really focused on writing feature code in a bit. We've really focused on testing code, so I kind of want to get us back to actually implementing some features. So let's go ahead and keep rolling on our feature set. And we'll kind of just do some acceptance tests, or not acceptance, but our mental acceptance tests in the user interface. So okay, so what are we talking about here? So let's see. If we go back to our controller code, so we have product controller. And then, okay, great. So if we can remember, our sizes are kind of, what the issue we're kind of running into here is that certain colors only have certain sizes associated with them. So what we want to do is make sure that the color selection, we kind of limit the size selection that people are making. Here, so let's go and look at our data and our view side. So we'll go into our dev tools here. I think it'll make a little more sense. So at the root, we're passing down the sizes. And here we've got our selected color, and we've bound the selected color to Vuex. So let's check our database here. and kind of see how we can make those relationships a little bit better. So let's see. Oop, not action events. Products. And it would be our inventory. Yeah, so here's what we're doing. So basically the issue is that we only have so many mediums and they're red and one large, and meanwhile we have an extra large in red, but we don't have an extra large in blue. So understanding this relationship is really going to be pretty key. So I think that kind of brings up an interesting point here is we're kind of separating colors and sizes in our data, but it might make more sense to do more of an object-based approach where the either the color or the size is the key, and that way it might become a little easier. But I'm not too sure what we want to be doing here in terms of our data and how we want to manage that. So I think what we're going to want to do is, because we're using our color to scope down our size, what we can do is say the color will be the key, and then for each size that it has, we can kind of create an array for that and then pass it down, and hopefully that can help us scope what we're talking about here. So let's go ahead and kind of set that up in our data a little bit and then pass that through. Or we could even pass, let's just pass the product. We don't even have to. I think we can do this on the client side. But we will pass the product itself now to our components. So let's see here. This is our color side. So we'll make this at least an object. I have to double check that. And we'll say it's required. Cool. And now if we go product.blade, and we're in color selector, so product will just be equal to product. Nice. Ooh, what's the error? Okay. I upgraded my operating system, and now Git is throwing me all sorts of errors, which is wonderful. So let's see. So this should have recompiled. And in our color selector, we've got our object, which is the product. And we can see all the items associated with that, and then all the colors here. And I was thinking we might be able to do like a computed property. So whatever the selected color is. Actually, I think I've overjumped this. So we actually want to send the or I haven't overjumped it. I've done it in the wrong spot. We want to send the product over to the other selector, yeah. So that way it can scope the choices down. Cool. Nope, that's wrong. So we'll just grab this guy, and we'll go back to the size selector. Nice. Okay, so now we've got our product in here. And I'm going to have to figure that out. Okay, so in our size selector now we have the product, and we have the sizes. And we're going to want to import that getter from our Vuex, which was the whole point. So that way we have the selected color over in the size component. So that was the whole point of getting set up with Vuex. So we'll grab that guy. And we are going to make some computed properties to make this a bit easier for ourselves. Okay, so now we know whatever the selected color is going to be. And so if we look at our size selector, we've got our product, selected size will be, our selected color is blue, and that should scope down the available list of sizes. Cool, so how are we going to do this? So I want to kind of make a computed property here and probably make it like available, get if I can spell, available sizes. That'll just be a function that we can use. So I guess in our product itself, we have all the items. Okay. So we've got all the items. And then each of those has a color and then a size. And actually this will be pretty easy. So what we'll do is we'll say products. So we'll let products, that'll equal this dot product dot items, and we'll filter, and we'll just say whatever the product is, and then we'll return product dot size, right? Or color rather, sorry. It's equal to this dot selected color, yeah. So let's start by returning that just so we can see it. Let's see if we did it right. I think that should work. So available sizes is 0. If we click on blue and give this a refresh, yeah, so we've got all 6 of these now. And what we can do now is basically grab the sizes from them. So we got a large, medium, extra large, and if we did red, I think we have, I don't know if we, that shouldn't, I don't know if we have an extra large like that or not. We only have 12 products or items. I am not doing this. There we go. It needs to be an equality check, not a setter. Otherwise you won't. That's what I was wondering why we were seeing those values. Okay, so now if we select blue, we see 2. If we do red, 4, and that makes more sense. So that's a good example here. So we have 3 sizes, but we only have 2 sizes available. So that's why we're going through all this trouble in the first place. And now I think Lodash has like a reduce method that we could use. I don't know if reduce is exactly what we want to use, but we'll try it. Result running for 3. Basically, we want to make limit the set down to the very last values. Which is the cumulative result. All right, so that's not exactly what we want to do, but we do want to check out collection. Map. Oh, group by. Then we get our key by. No, maybe group by. Or reject. No, that's not what we want. Let's try group by. That'll get us kind of closer to what we want. Okay, so this is the products that we're going to want. So I'll just call this products for now. Or maybe items. I think that's a little bit closer to our schema. That's going to annoy me the whole time. And then I think we have Lodash kind of out of the box with Laravel. So what we're using there, order by. And we'll say items. And then, oh, sorry, we're going to do group by. And then the iteree, so whatever we want to put in there. And that will be the color, or sorry, the size. So we can return that. And we'll get one step closer. So in our size selector, we'll say blue. And yeah, now we've got a large and a medium, which is awesome. Now we got that extra large. And I believe there's like a, I don't know if there's a JavaScript get keys. Yep, I guess get properties. Object, I forget what that is. Yeah, that's what I thought, object keys. And okay, that's pretty nice. I don't know. There's probably a faster way to do this, but that's just how my brain at least started to solve the problem. And again, this is just to get a proof of concept. There might be a faster, better way to do it, which is great. But for right now, I don't really care too much. I only care about getting this to a proof of concept, so to speak. Okay, great. So now we have available sizes, and instead of having them iterate over just sizes, we can just say available sizes. Awesome. And now we've made our size chart reactive there. Oh, and what we're going to need to do is if there's no selective color, which I believe makes it null, then we will return this dot sizes. Or so we could do that, or we could say please select a color first, which I think makes sense. And honestly, I want to change the order of these anyway, just because I think it makes more sense if they're selecting their color before they select the size. That way the scoping makes sense. So actually, let's do that, because I think that's a better UI, giving the user some feedback as to what's going on there. So we'll just add a p tag, so please select a size. And we'll say we show if available sizes dot length equal is the right key there, dot length is equal to 0. And we'll start there. Like we can add a class, text black, and we could say like text small. Okay, so that'll make some changes to our UI. Okay, yeah, so please select a size, or I guess we want to say a color. That makes more sense. That's just going to keep popping up. Okay, so now if we select blue, we've got medium or large. If we select red, extra large comes in. And so now we've kind of got a question to ask ourselves, because if we swap, like that's not staying it's staying selected, even though it really shouldn't, and we wouldn't want to persist that to the cart if we did that. So anytime we're changing the selected color, we're going to want to clear out whatever the selected size is. So for that, what we're going to do is we're going to have a watcher, which will go right below here. So watch, and the property name should correspond to what you want to be watching. So for this, we'll say selected color. And essentially, whenever this changes, we will set the selected size to null. I believe that'll work. I haven't done a watcher in a minute. Okay, so now let's try it out. So red, we set that to extra large, and then if we go back, we see that it's no longer selected. We go large, no longer selected. So now we're overriding it whenever we're making that color switch. So that way we're not persisting that on accident. So whenever we do add it to the cart, we're not so worried about it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So this is nice because we also kind of got rid of our reliance on sizes here. We're now using the product itself. So I'm actually going to go ahead and remove all that code that we were using, because that'll clean things up a little bit and be a little bit less data. We're doing less in the controller now as well, which is nice. So I think that's fine. I think leaving that colors prop is fine. That'll get us where we need to be. We could obviously just pass in the product itself and kind of do that on the client side too, but just having that, I think that pre-generated property and lists will take care of us for a while. So like that. I think that looks pretty nice. I think we need to tweak it that much. Kind of having the colors match keeps things consistent. And yeah, so now we finally, after a couple of weeks here, it feels like gotten our functionality where we want it to be. And the nice thing about all of this is we can really start focusing on sending now we can start our cart sort of section, but really we could focus in on sending individual items now because we have products in the UI. And we could send one that corresponds here and maybe put a hold or a lock on it on the back end side as well, which would be interesting. So we can think about that as a potential, so that way we don't sell two of the same item. Downside of that is if somebody puts it in their cart, I'm just kind of thinking out loud here. Somebody puts that in their cart, then all of a sudden they're not going to, they could lock up our inventory, and we wouldn't have anybody to, we couldn't sell it to anybody. But at the same time, I don't know, we can make a cron job to unblock after an hour if it's been in a cart for an hour, and then we'll definitely do some server-side checks so people couldn't buy items that they have in their that aren't there, essentially. So that's an implementation. We could just put in the requirements for what they're looking for and see if that exists, which probably is simpler. So I think we'll end up going more of that approach. But because actually, you know what we'll do is because the SKU is based on the so the product ID. So the SKU itself is based on. I think we copied all that. No. So it's based on the product ID, and it's based on the color that they want. Okay, so that's what we'll do. We'll send the SKU to our cart, and that's how we'll know exactly what we should be selling people. And if we no longer have that SKU in our inventories, then we know we've sold it, and we're going to have to ask them to reselect something else. So that's how we can do that sort of validation, and we don't have to worry about putting holds or anything like that. So that's an advantage of SKUs. If anyone has got a better approach to that logic, let me know. But I think for now, we can kind of roll with that. Cool. So checking in with our sort of checklist here, we can go ahead and finally get rid of these details. And I think we finally added more of our product info. Awesome. So we've got price, cost, size, all that good stuff. Yeah, that's all here now. And we can go ahead and really start working on our shopping cart. So again, we've kind of jumped the gun. We have Vuex and Vue set up, so we can actually check that one off as well, which is pretty nice. And now we can start focusing in on our shopping cart itself. Cool. So let's go ahead and build that component. Again, this is a really good use case for Vue and Vuex, so we're going to definitely make a lot of use of that. And we might even use Font Awesome as well, because that's a pretty good library, at least in my opinion. So let's see here. So what kind of a component are we going to build? So let's build a shopping icon. We can call it that to start. Cool. And then I've got a little bit of text help that I use whenever I have a new component like that. And really this is only going to be, this might become a drop down, so we'll leave the div for now. It depends on how we want our experience to be. So do we want them to hover over it and see the items in their shopping cart? Do we want to give them that sort of preview functionality? Do we care to? Do we just want to send them straight to our cart page? I think that's probably going to be our approach here, just to make things a little bit easier. So this is going to be an A tag at some point. And where's our route folder? It's probably jumping. Oh, it's not routes anymore. Web dot. Cool. So yeah, we don't have a ton of routes, but we'll at some point have a cart route, which I think will come in handy for us. And we'll need a controller and all sorts of good stuff for there as well. Cool. And we can, I think for now we'll manage carts on the client side. There's something to be said for probably having a cart model and saving it to the database, and that way you can kind of query it over time and stuff like that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to focus more on keeping it all client side, and that way when they're ready to make the purchase, we'll do all the validation and checks and all that good stuff. But we'll see. This will evolve, I'm sure, over time. Cool. So now we need to go to our, and I'm just going to put cart in here for now. And then I'll go to /cart. Cool. So let me see here. In our partials, yeah, we've got nav, and I actually have to register this component before I do anything. So we'll call this the cart icon. Also, let me just see if I can get rid of this. Yeah. Not right now, it looks like. Okay, so finally we're ready to add this in. And we'll just call this the cart icon. And we'll add it when they're registered and when they are not registered. So that, I think it makes sense. We'll probably need to do some sort of authentication check there. So that'll be fun. But let's see what we're working with now. Alrighty. Why is that not showing up? Let's see if we're blowing up our... Cannot find... Oh, did I name it right? Oh, I called it shopping icon. Which we'll just rename. And I think cart makes more sense. Cool. Now, should get a little closer. So if we look in our view, okay, it's not registering. That could just be because I didn't. Nope, that should be there. So cart icon. And then in the nav, that's set up correctly. Oh, inside of our layouts maybe? That's the issue. It's outside of our app, which is our ID of app, which is slightly frustrating. That's why they make it so global here. I think we'll just go ahead and snag that approach. And then in our product page, we'll just get rid of this ID. You don't want duplicates. The home page, we didn't have it. Welcome page, I don't think we had it either. So that'll get rid of some issues we were probably having. And now, there we go. There's our cart. Nice. And I think that should go there. We're going to make it an icon. So I'm going to pull in Font Awesome just because I think they do a nice job. There are better, probably, icon libraries out there. Yeah, they've got all sorts of carts here. So that'll work pretty nicely for us. Maybe a custom one would work as well. But for right now, I think this is going to work for us. Cool. So let me grab this. Nice. And throw this in here. And we don't currently have this installed in the project. So I'm going to have to add it, which is not a problem. A couple of different ways to add it. But I think I'm just going to use the CDN because that's going to be fairly easy. Yeah. And we don't have to continue to worry about it. So we can go ahead and throw that under styles. And let's see if that comes together for us. Not quite. See if I can do a hard refresh. Okay, so something's going on with that component. There's something about Vue and Font Awesome that I haven't worried about in a while. So in your files, your UI. Oh, so this might be what I'm the issue. How to use. Oh, so they've got their own. I see what's going on here. Okay, so I need to use this library. Let's go ahead and do that. Cool. And then, so what are they doing? They're actually importing that specific icon, which is interesting. I don't know if I love that approach. I wish I could kind of import everything, but for right now, that's fine. So let's see here in our app.js, right? Or we could even put it in the bootstrap. I guess app.js makes more sense. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put that up top. And we want to add font awesome cart, right? Shopping cart, which I imagine just be like that. And now we can grab this guy and actually take this link out of our style sheet. And then here, cool. All right, let's see how that turned out. Nothing. What's going wrong? Cannot find module at Fort Awesome. Did I possibly didn't save this right? Sometimes I forget the yarn and npm overlaps, what the story is. So node modules. Also might be a deal with our build. We don't have the at roots. Yeah, so why is this? I guess I didn't save. I could have sworn. Right? You're an ad. Let me get rid of this tag here. That's weird. Okay, so now we'll have that in here. So at the very least, it should show up. Yeah, there it is. Nice. Alrighty, now maybe we're cooking with gas. Alrighty. Well, at least we're a step closer. Is that really? So we can't find module. So inside our app.js, something's going on here. But it totally is installed. Right? Oh, that's not installed. But that guy is. Let's see. Let's see here. Oh. That would make sense if I did everything. Alright. We're getting there. One step at a time. All right, now we're a step closer, yet a step farther away. Shopping cart's not defined. Where am I referencing that? In core, all right. So now we've got some other issues, but we're closer. So now I can look for shopping cart again. Cool. So we got this guy. I think it'll give us some directions on how to use it. And no, it does not. really, is there a glyph? Did we go through a lot of that for nothing? Let me try that. I don't know if that's right either. Oh. Alright, so let's at least change this to shopping cart. And then in app.js, for some reason, it's not registering. A couple things at once here. And we'll go to Vue.js again. So you would just think that would work, but sadly it does not. Let me just see if I can get that coffee one to work. Oh, was that the issue? I need the FA in front of it. Look at that. That could have done it. There it is. Alright, that was my problem. Cool. So now we can check that guy out. That's pretty cool. I would expect to see the component below it, because I think that's what's going on there, but that doesn't really matter. I wonder if we can also do it like this, FAR. Nope. That's okay. Cool. Let's get out of there. So now we've got our cart icon. And let's give it some, I guess, margin. What were we saying here? Margin right 3. I guess we can do that here. We don't have to do it in the cart yet. But, and actually, let's grab some of these styles. Excuse me. Let's see if these will work. See what we're working with a little bit. Nice. That looks pretty good to me. So now we've got a shopping cart. And, okay, that goes directly to that page. But what I kind of want to do is whenever we select something and add it to the cart, kind of show a little badge there that says, hey, we've added some items to the cart. So let me see with the Vue stuff how to do a badge. Let's see. Ordering stacking icons. Oh, I probably wanted that. Let's see which of these have what we're looking for. All right, so there's this guy. So usage, icon, registering components, advanced. Stacking. It might not support it, which would be kind of a bummer. Let's go to advanced features here. Okay, so yeah, so we can do these transforms here. We can do the styling. Okay, so this is how we do the inline layers. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's kind of what we were getting at with the stacking the icons. Let's just look at that implementation real fast. Yeah, so that's a stack. And I'm not sure why what the difference is between the layers. stacking, but let's take a look. Yeah, all right. It's kind of what we're looking for. So we'll grab this item here. Cool. And we'll just call this one the shopping cart. We don't need this class here. And we go back to our awesome example. Okay. And we'll just say the value of this is going to be the, we'll call this like cart count. Let's say like 4 for now. And we'll make this dynamic. And hopefully that'll come through for us. And this gray class doesn't exist, so let's just say BG red to start. Let's see how far that gets us. Okay, nowhere. That deer cracks me up every time. So let's see here. What's going on? Ah, so we have to register those components. That's not what I wanted. Let's see if they, okay. So I think we just need layers. Oh, we did need both. No worries. Yeah, this is a lot of extra stuff just to get these icons working. It used to not be this hard. It used to just be plug and play, throw the CDN on, and you're good to go. I wonder why that doesn't work anymore. Okay, so we're kind of closer. All right, so that doesn't look terrible, but we're kind of getting to the idea, but it's not exactly what we were looking for. So I'm wondering what's going on here. Okay, it's these transforms, I bet. So let's fix those. We'll say up to. Let's see if that helps us. Okay, I'm getting there. I wonder if I could just take these transforms off and we'll see what happens. Okay, so that just puts it right on top. So we can go back to this. So this has a certain class on it. Let me see if putting that class on will help. Any luck? Almost. So what's going on there? Do we have margin on our... I wonder what's going on there. Maybe we can take off this full width business. See if that gets us a little closer. Nope, still having similar issues. All right, I feel like we're almost there. All right, let's add some of our own transforms. So there was a shrink, there's probably a grow, and then left. I don't know. Let's see if that works. All right, that was too much growing. Let's try a grow 1. All right. The grow is obviously too much, or I'm not using it correctly. Left seemed to be working though. So let's shrink 10. Let's see, power transforms. Oh, that's not wanted. Scaling. So yeah, we do want to grow it. Including decimals? Oh, that's kind of nice. Maybe I'll do that. Let's see, that'll play for us. Still too big. We're not getting any success. I'm wondering now if this left is our issue. Yeah. I'm going to take this layers class off because it's not... I feel like we can just move it around and figure it out now. Alright. So we'll just shrink it to now. Let's just say right 2, up 2, and we'll say rounded circle, and I'm going to say P2 all around. Let's see what that gets us. All right, we've really done too much here now. Let's see. All right, that's too much padding. We'll do P1. All right, that's getting us there. Let's look at these power transforms a little more. Yeah, up 6. Right, 6. All right, I'm gonna try that. That seemed to put it in a spot where we kind of wanted it. We'll get rid of this guy for a second. All right, I'm getting there. We're a touch closer. Make this 8. All right, that's more or less where I expect it to be. I'm going to shrink it again. Kind of say font bold, padding 1. I don't think rounded circle is correct. Is it? I have to look at the Tailwind docs. Might be. Rounded corners. Yeah, rounded full. That's what I thought I was trying to say. Okay. Nice. All right, that's a little bit better. We're getting there. So I'm going to bump the padding out again and then shrink it to 5 and see how that looks. It's not a perfect circle. And I wonder if we can fix that instead by Command Tab. Ah, yeah, that would work. Thank you. You know, I always forget that command. That's a good one. Thank you. So let's see here. We've got that guy. So let's shrink it one more time. Let's set the width to 2 and the height to 2. Let's see if that works for us. Close, not quite. Okay, we'll go back to our padding approach because that was kind of working for us. All right, I'm gonna take it back down to 2, and we're gonna call it there. You could tweak it however you want. I think you can kind of see what that'll do for you. And you could finagle it to be exactly what you want it to be. I'm going to try one more thing, though, which is make the px2 and the py1 and see if that works for us. A little more circular. That's all I'm looking for. Okay, I think that's good. Cool. So that looks a little bit more like a circle. That's the dynamic property. So whatever we put in our Vuex cart, or whatever the count of items is going to be, that is what will come out of there. So let's go ahead and start working on that cart. We've got about 10 minutes, but we can at least scaffold it out. So within our, we're probably going to make another module for the cart. At least I think we should. Thanks, appreciate it. So let's just say in our cart we have some items, and that'll be our just an array. So we'll have an items getter, and that'll say items, and then select item. So we don't really have this concept of selecting. We're adding and removing items. So we'll say add item. We'll start with adding. Removing will be a little more complicated. Actually, let me, before I get rid of everything. So add item. So we've got the state, then we've got the item. Oop. And all we're going to do here is just push the item into the state items. So we're mutating that directly. I think that's fine. And then this will just be the undercase. So we're committing, and when we have our item, we're adding the item. Pretty straightforward. Okay, great. Great. I guess we could figure out the remove item. We'd just splice it. The trick there being we need to find the index of. Question that we can think on the implementation side is whether or not we're in our remove item if we would pass the index or the item itself. I would probably pass the item itself just to keep the API the same, because we're passing the item when we're adding it. We should just pass the item when we're removing it, find the index ourselves, and then splice it out that way. But anyway, we'll get to that, I think, in a second. So what we're going to want to do now is back on our, cart, or our product page, right? We have that button that we need to focus a little bit more on, our add to cart button. And that itself, we're going to definitely want to make a component out of. So we'll say add to, I'll say cart button. Cart button. Cool. So we'll just do new file. So we'll new up a view. Awesome. And we can just grab that from our products page. Where'd he go? There he is. Cool. And that will just live here. Nice. Add to cart. Looks good to me. And in terms of props, what we're going to end up doing is probably accepting the product itself. I think that'll work for now. What we do need to know, and this is interesting, so we're going to need, based on our selected item size as well as our selected items, color, we're going to have to pick a SKU out of there, which is fine. We just don't have the size information in Vuex yet. We just have the color information. So a couple of different ways we can approach this. We could have like a selected product in the product state, which I think might be the way we want to go with this. We could also do, we could also just have a selected size here and kind of compute what the product would be, the SKU. That's another approach. I'm trying to think about which way we want to go with this. I think right now Let's look at the size selector here. I don't think it would. So whenever we're selecting the size, we already have the product here. Okay, let's just do the selected product. I think that'll work. Cool. So we'll start with selected product, and that'll be null. A lot of duplication and state management stuff. That's just kind of how it is. I think the benefits of it far outweigh the annoyingness of having to duplicate some stuff. So we'll select the product. And again, if it's null, we'll just set it back to null. Sorry, if they're the same, we'll set it back. If not, that implementation might change, but I think for right now we're good. And finally, select product, cool, and that'll be product once more. Awesome. So in our size selector component, what we're going to want to do is we'll map an action. And we'll say we'll scope that with products. We'll say select product. And so whatever the size is selected, we can only select a size if a color has already been selected. So that is some fragile logic, but for right now I think it's going to work. So we'll select the product as well. And for that case, we'll pass in null. But here we'll pass in this product. All right. So I think that'll work for us. We'll take a look. So in Vue, we've got our, actually we don't even have a getter here, so we're gonna go straight to Vuex and look at our base state. So we select our color, and then we'll say large, and if we give that, all right, so selected product didn't get set there for some reason. Why is that? Select product, this product. I would expect to at least see the mutation come through. And I could have copied things too fast, so let's see what's going on. Select product, that's the right commit. Product. Equal to the product. That all looks like it should be okay. So that's our state. Okay, we got some console errors here. Module namespace not found. That could be the issue. That definitely is the issue. It's product, not products. Cool. Thought we had that wired correctly. Alrighty. So now we got our base state. We select blue, then large. There it is. Select product, which is that object. Awesome. Now that it's in Vuex, it is available to our cart, which is pretty nice. So in our cart button, we'll say map getters. Actually, let me just before we do that, I want to check one other thing. And we'll import that from Vuex. Cool. I just want to make sure that if we deselect it, it goes to null. Okay, cool. That's great. So in our computed properties, we'll map the actions. Getters, sorry. And it's product, not products. Yep, there we go. And we'll say selected product. And we need one more dot for the object spread. Nice. So now in our add to cart button, we've got the selected product. And when we select that item, we'll add it to our cart. So let's see here. In cart.js, items, add item. Cool. Yep, that's wrong. Wrong button. Okay, so a couple different things. We're going to import map actions. And then in our methods, we'll again, but this time instead of product, we will say cart because the namespace is different. So add item. We'll add another method here, like add to cart. That's what we're doing. We'll say this dot add item, and we'll pass the selected product. Now I'm sure there are some edge cases here, but for the basic functionality, this is all we need, I think. Cool. Cool. All right, so let's check out. We're at our base state. We're going to select a color, which will add that to our Vuex. Now we've got a selected product. We click add to cart, and it fails. Namespace not found. I haven't added this here. So we'll add the cart, and there we go. Nice. All right, that's the third time's the charm. However many times we've tried this. Cool. So blue, large, add to cart. Unknown getter. I labeled that incorrectly. Where'd it go? Cart button. Map actions. All right, and while we're here, in the cart icon, we might as well have a little fun and say import map getters from Vuex, and we'll make that computed map getters. This will come from our cart. This will be the items, which I believe is what we called it. Yeah, that's a getter. And this will be items.length. Let me get rid of that guy. Alrighty. So now it's 0. We'll add blue. We'll add large, we'll add it to cart, and now we're up to 1. And just like that, in about an hour, we, with a lot of finagling around, not focusing, we've gone ahead and added our basic cart functionality. And of course, we've got a long ways to go, but for the most part, we've got a nice little Vuex setup here. We've got our items in the cart the way we'd expect them to be. We need to fix this a little bit so we're focused on the proper SKU, because right now we've added the product, but we didn't add the selection that the user wanted. But just that to get it all wired up and good to go, we're looking in pretty good shape now. So thanks for watching tonight. We're a little over time, so I'll end it here. Next time we'll focus on making sure that the proper SKU is getting sent over, and maybe we'll start working on our actual sort of checkout functionality as well, depending on how far we get. So again, thanks for watching. My name is Nick Basile. You can follow me on Twitter at NickJBasile. Also on my website, nick-basile.com. That's kind of where I blog and do other stuff besides live streaming. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you. Next week is a holiday in the U.S., so I will be taking off. But the week after that, we will be back and ready for another episode. So have a wonderful Thanksgiving if you're in the U.S. Have a wonderful week if you're not, and we'll see you next time.